Hello, today's Bible study comes from Second Corinthians chapter 13, 1 through 4, and reads as follows. This is my third visit to you. Every matter must be established by the testimony of two or three witnesses. I already gave you a warning when I was with you the second time. I now repeat it while absent. On my return, I will not spare those who sinned earlier or any of the others, since you are demanding proof that Christ is speaking through me. He is not weak in dealing with you, but is powerful among you. For to be sure, he was crucified in weakness, yet he lives by God's power. Likewise, we are weak in him, yet by God's power we will live with him in our dealing with you. Whoa, whoa. Paul is giving out a warning, and this is a stern warning. And he says, this will be the third time I am coming to you. And remember, Paul founded this church. You remember on the first visit a while back when you were back in um, the book of Acts, he founded the church. And he had a second visit, but remember that one was a brief one because there were some problems. And Paul says, hey, I'm planning to come a third time. And that's what he was talking about in chapter 12 when he got there on the third time, how if they had repented. So now he's talking to him about the warning of the situation. And he says, by the mouth of two or three witnesses, every word shall be established. And Paul is quoting the scriptures here. And it's in regards to Paul coming to see these people. And he just says, I only need two or three witnesses. That's it. He says, I need two or three witnesses who saw me here. They are my testimony and of his associates. And this was really to tell the Corinthians that he is coming to judge them. And Paul is telling them, I got more than enough information. Look at what you've been doing. If I come again, I will not spare. And this is a big thing for him to say. And Paul was telling them, you got weak leadership. You haven't been listening. You've been listening to these false dudes, all these things, but you need strong leadership. And that's what Paul is going to be. And he says, I'm going to be there. And since you see a proof of Christ speaking in me, and remember we were talking about those other apostles just a minute ago, well, we bring it up again. And remember the Corinthians thought they were all that. And they said you want to see me be more powerful and have this look. And Paul didn't present this look. He was a humble, meek man, and they didn't see his strength, and they didn't like his appearance or his speech. And so Paul said, hey, you want to see proof of Christ speaking in me? He says, well, check it out. Excuse me, check this out then. On the third visit, you'll see the power. And he says, when you see the power, it's gonna be bad because I'm gonna be getting after folk and I'm gonna get this thing right. I'm gonna fix this church of Corinth. So either you fix it before I come or watch out. And then he says, for though he was crucified in weakness, yet he lives in the power of God. For we also are weak in him, but we shall live with him by the power of God towards you. And Paul was pretty much saying, Jesus showed weakness, and I mean he was a meek man. He wasn't doing anything. He was humble. Um, but he says even in his weakness, guess where he's at the right hand of God. And Paul said, I'm coming that way. I'm coming the way Jesus was here. And these Corinthians had an issue, trust and believe. And Paul is saying, hey, Get yourself together. Take a look at yourself before I get here, because when I do get there, I am going to clean house. Amen.